Have you ever felt like your own thoughts were working against you like an invisible fog? You just can't seem to escape. Maybe it's the constant hum of anxiety about what's ahead. The sudden spikes of anger that seem to take over without warning, or the gripping fear that keeps you stuck where you are. These emotions don't just disturb your peace, they can dim your entire experience of life. If that sounds familiar, know this: you're not alone. We've all stood there in those heavy, silent battles with our own minds, wondering how we can possibly break free. But what if I told you there's a path through it? A way not to eliminate these emotions, but to face them with strength, clarity, and calm. That's where Stoicism comes in. This ancient philosophy isn't just abstract theory or historical wisdom. It's a toolkit, a practical, grounded guide that teaches you how to live better, especially when emotions threaten to take over. Stoicism shows us that inner peace isn't found by avoiding negative feelings, but by understanding them. By learning to manage the mind, you stop letting it manage you. And I won't lie, the journey isn't always easy, but it's possible. And more than that, it's worth it. What you're about to hear isn't just another lecture on mindset. It's a blend of real-life experiences, hard-earned lessons, and the enduring truths of Stoic philosophy. So take a breath, be present, because what you discover in the next few minutes might just change the way you deal with fear, anger, and anxiety for good. Let's begin. Number 1. Recognize that your mind can create joy. The human mind is an extraordinary instrument. It holds within it the ability to create a full spectrum of emotional experience, from the darkest depths of fear and sorrow to the brightest peaks of joy and peace. And yet, here's the problem. Most of us were never taught how to use this tool properly. Instead of becoming a trusted ally, our minds often turn into our greatest source of suffering. But that's not because the mind is broken. It's because we've been operating it unconsciously, pressing the wrong keys on the keyboard of thought over and over again. Imagine this. You're sitting alone in a quiet room. No one's talking. Nothing is happening. But in your head, thoughts are flying: regrets from the past, worries about the future, criticism, fear, self-doubt. It's like typing out a song made only of sorrow. But what if you changed the tune? Just like a pianist learns which keys create harmony, you too can train your mind to play something different, something uplifting: gratitude, peace, contentment, joy. Because here's the truth. When you feel stuck in a spiral of negative emotion, it's not because the world around you has no beauty. It's because your mind is fixated on the wrong notes. Take a simple example. You wake up in the morning. Before your feet even hit the floor, your thoughts are racing: unfinished tasks, yesterday's tension, that one conversation you're still replaying. And suddenly, your mood drops. Anxiety creeps in. You feel behind before the day even begins. But what if, just for a moment, you paused? What if you shifted your focus to the fact that you're alive, that you have this new day, this fresh chance, right in front of you? Wouldn't your emotional state begin to shift? Stoicism reminds us that joy doesn't live outside of us. It's not something we earn with achievements, money, or approval. Joy has always been within us. We just need to stop drowning it with mental clutter. When we let go of the endless stream of negative thoughts, joy rises. Not because we added something, but because we stopped blocking it. Picture another moment. It's a long afternoon. You're exhausted. Your to-do list stares back at you, unfinished. If you keep feeding your mind with pressure, comparison, or fear, you only increase the weight. But what if you chose, in that moment to remind yourself that you've done your best, that rest is allowed, that even here, even now, you can find peace. The difference isn't in your circumstances. It's in the story your mind is telling. And once you learn to rewrite that story, everything begins to change. When you're feeling stressed, your mind tends to spiral, churning out more and more negative thoughts. And the more you let it run on autopilot, the deeper into that negativity you fall. But here's the thing. You can interrupt the cycle. Sometimes all it takes is a pause, a moment to look out the window, to notice the sky open and clear, to see the leaves outside your window dancing in the wind. And then it hits you. Maybe joy doesn't come from checking off every task. Maybe it comes from how you see the world around you. Seneca once wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Yet most of us live anywhere but the present. Our minds race ahead, worried about tomorrow, or loop endlessly through yesterday's regrets. And in the process, we miss the only moment that truly exists right now. Think of a time you spent with your family. You were there physically, but your mind, it was stuck in work emails, deadlines, or a difficult conversation from earlier. And because of that, you weren't fully in the moment. You missed the warmth of laughter, the closeness of shared stories. Not only did it rob you of connection, it deepened your internal stress. But imagine if, in that same moment, you had paused, taken a slow breath, focused on the light in someone's eyes, the simple joy of being together. The moment didn't need to change you, just needed to change how you experienced it. Here's a simple practice. Whenever you feel negativity creeping in, pause. Ask yourself, am I pressing the wrong key on my mind's keyboard? Then, gently shift. Replace the current thought with something you're grateful for, or recall a memory that made you feel calm and loved. Even one small shift in thought can redirect your emotional state. Understanding that your mind can create joy is not just an interesting insight. It's a doorway to freedom. It's the first real step toward overcoming emotions like fear, anger, and anxiety. When you begin to master your mind, something powerful happens. You stop generating suffering and you start creating peace. And this isn't a theory. It's something you can start practicing today. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Number 2, learn to master your mindance. You realize that your mind has the power to create both happiness and suffering. A new question arises. What now? That realization is just the beginning. The next step, perhaps the most important one, is this. Learn how to master your mind. Not in a controlling, forceful way, but in a way that turns your mind into a source of strength, rather than a burden. Because here's what Stoicism teaches us. The root of suffering does not lie in external events, it lies in how we perceive and respond to them. Think about a time when you allowed anger to take over. You shouted, you stewed. Maybe you said something you later regretted. And afterward, did it help? Did it bring peace? Or did it leave behind a trail of tension and regret? More often than not, anger makes things worse. As Seneca wisely said, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. So ask yourself, is it really worth trading your inner peace for a brief moment of emotional chaos? Here's what many people get wrong. Emotions like anger aren't enemies attacking you from the outside. They're not monsters you need to slay. They are internal states. They're the natural, often unconscious reactions of a mind left untamed. Picture Your mind is a wild horse. If left unchecked, it runs wild, pulling you through storms of fear, anxiety, and reactive behavior. But if trained and understood, it becomes a powerful ally, taking you where you want to go. When you find yourself consumed by fear, paralyzed by anxiety, or overtaken by anger, it's a sign that your mind is operating on its terms, not yours. So how do you take back the reins? Start by shifting your relationship with your mind. Don't fight it. Don't fear it. See your mind as something you can train, refine, and even befriend. Instead of reacting blindly to your emotions, start observing them. Watch them rise. Name them. And in that awareness, you begin to weaken their grip. Next time, when anger starts to bubble up, resist the immediate urge to act. Take a breath, step back, and choose to respond not from impulse, but from clarity. Because the goal isn't to suppress your emotions, it's to understand them, so they no longer control you. The next time you feel a surge of anger, don't react immediately. Pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, why am I angry? Is this really worth sacrificing my peace? Will anything improve if I stay calm instead of lashing out? This small moment of reflection can completely shift your emotional state. Because when you slow down long enough to question your reaction, something amazing happens. You begin to see the situation as it is, not as your emotions would have you believe it is. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. You always have a choice, and that choice, your response, is your greatest strength. Life is full of challenges. Some days, everything flows. You feel light, clear, and in control. Other days, something as minor as a snarky comment, a delay, or a traffic jam can throw your balance off. That's exactly when Stoic wisdom matters most. Because here's the truth: you can't control everything that happens, but you can always control how you respond. Think of yourself behind the wheel. On a busy road, you can't prevent another driver from cutting you off, running a red light, or making a careless move. But you can pause, slow down, yield, and keep yourself safe. Life works the same way. You can't stop people from saying thoughtless things. You can't predict every twist in your day, but you can train yourself to respond with calm instead of chaos. And that training, it's just like building muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect instant strength. It takes repetition, discipline, time. Mastering your mind works the same way. When a situation sparks anxiety or anger, instead of letting emotions spiral out of control, come back to your breath. Remind yourself, this is temporary. I can choose peace. Remember, controlling your mind doesn't mean you will never feel fear, sadness, or anger again. It means you learn to live with these emotions, not be ruled by them. Because emotions, whether bright or dark, are part of being human. The key is not to suppress them, but to understand them, to lead them instead of letting them lead you. When you master your mind, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You become the captain, steady, present, unshaken, even when the waves crash, and more than just blocking negativity. A trained mind unlocks your potential. It becomes a source of clarity, creativity, and joy, a wellspring of strength you can draw from again and again. So ask yourself, are you ready to begin that journey? If so, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's been your biggest struggle when it comes to controlling your thoughts or emotions? Have you ever surprised yourself by finding strength in stillness? Let's learn and grow together. Number 3 now. Let's explore just how powerful that imagination can be and how you can reclaim it. Because the truth is, your mind is a brilliant creator. It's like a world-class filmmaker capable of weaving entire stories in vivid color, with emotion, sound, and suspense. But unfortunately, left unchecked, your mind tends to produce horror films instead of comedies or feel-good dramas. Picture this: you're sitting quietly, and suddenly your mind plays a movie dark, full of fear, danger, and dread. Your chest tightens, your palms sweat, your heart pounds. But there's no actual threat, only images projected by your thoughts. And then the movie ends. And what do you find? Nothing actually happened. No real danger, no disaster. Just your mind running wild with fear-fueled fiction. And yet your body reacted. Your emotions were stirred. That imaginary scene hurt, even though it wasn't real. It's ironic, isn't it? That something completely made up can still leave us rattled. But here's the good news. If your imagination has the power to frighten you, it also has the power to uplift you. Just like a talented director chooses how to tell a story, you can learn to redirect your mental movies. Why keep producing horror films when you could start writing comedies? Let's say you're dreading a meeting. Instead of imagining disaster, criticism, failure, embarrassment, try picturing laughter, a breakthrough, even praise. Or maybe you receive a vague message from your boss. Can we talk later today? Immediately, your mind fills in the blanks with the worst. You're in trouble. You did something wrong. You're about to get fired. But when the conversation finally happens, your boss simply wanted to share good news or ask for your input on a project. All that anxiety, totally unnecessary. It was a creation of your own mind. Let's take another common example. Someone gets a short message from their partner. We need to talk immediately, and suddenly, boom. Mental chaos. They start imagining a breakup, an argument, a betrayal. Their internal theater kicks into high gear, building scenes of heartbreak and confrontation. But when they finally sit down to talk, the truth is simple, maybe even joyful. Their partner just wanted to share an idea or make a spontaneous plan. And all that fear, a figment, a fiction. This is how negative imagination works. It doesn't just distort the truth, it builds entire realities that drain your energy and fill you with dread. So, what's the solution? Recognize that your mind is capable of distortion. That just because you think something doesn't mean it's real. You don't need to fight fear and anxiety. You need to let go of the unnecessary mental struggles, because how can you fight something that doesn't even exist? The next time fear shows up, try this. Look at it and say, "You're not real. I don't need to waste my energy on you." In a world that's already full of uncertainty, your mind should be a safe place, not a battlefield. Instead of tormenting yourself with terrifying stories, why not use your imagination to build peace, to create gentle landscapes, uplifting stories, romantic dreams, or calming memories? As Seneca so wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So if reality is already hard enough, isn't it time to make your inner world a place of comfort? Because the truth is, imagination isn't your enemy. It's a tool, a gift, and when trained, it can bring you joy, creativity, and even healing. Stoicism teaches us that peace isn't found in controlling the world, it's found in mastering your perceptions. When you stop constructing negative mental narratives, You realize that reality, though imperfect, is rarely as frightening as the version your mind invented. And in that realization, you uncover something powerful: peace. Number 4, reframe how you label emotions. Letting go of negative imagination brings clarity. But if you want to truly overcome negative emotions, there's another essential skill to develop: reframing how you label what you feel. Because the way you define your emotions determines the control they have over your life. Previously, we explored how imagination, when left unchecked, can create mental distress. But what happens when we stop battling our emotions and start changing the way we define them? That's exactly what we'll unpack now. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, is the rain really the problem? Rain, after all, is neutral. It isn't good or bad, it just is. Whether you see it as an inconvenience or a reason to curl up with tea and a good book, that's your choice, and that's the point. Your label, your interpretation, is what shapes the emotion tied to that experience. When you change the meaning you attach to what you're feeling, you transform the emotional experience itself. We often forget that every emotion begins with a thought, and thoughts, at their core, are nothing more than passing waves. The real issue, most of the time, we don't even notice our thoughts. We live on autopilot, reacting unconsciously, swept away by whatever the mind throws our way. An untrained mind becomes chaotic. It produces emotions not based on clarity, but on habit and fear. And emotions like anxiety or fear, they aren't powerful on their own. They're only amplified when we react blindly. Take this example. You're about to give an important presentation. Suddenly, anxiety kicks in. Your hands sweat. Your chest tightens. Your mind tells you, you can't do this. But pause. Step back. What if anxiety isn't your enemy? What if it's just a signal that you care deeply, that this matters to you? By shifting your perspective, anxiety goes from being a source of paralysis to a tool for preparation. It helps you focus. It reminds you to practice. It sharpens your attention. Emotions themselves aren't inherently negative or positive. They are neutral signals. It's the meaning, the label you assign, that gives them power over you. In reality, there's no such thing as purely good or bad thoughts. There are only conscious and unconscious ones. Conscious thoughts are those you intentionally direct toward growth, purpose, and solutions. Unconscious thoughts are the stream of noise, the background chatter your mind produces. Without your permission, they flow like a river, pulling you wherever they want. This unconscious state is what leads to suffering. It causes you to react instead of respond, to panic instead of pause. Stoicism teaches us this powerful truth. The difference between a free mind and one enslaved by emotion lies in your ability to direct your thoughts. But here's where many people go wrong. We try to fight our emotions. We label fear, anger, sadness as bad, and work tirelessly to eliminate them, thinking we'll find peace if we can just shut them off. But the harder we push them away, the stronger they come back. Don't believe it? Try this. For the next 10 seconds, don't think about a monkey. Can you do it? Chances are, the moment you tried to block the thought, your mind filled with monkeys swinging from trees. That's the nature of the mind. The more you resist, the more it resists you. And it's no different with negative emotions. The more you try to suppress fear or anger, the more intense they become. So, what's the better way? Accept, redefine, reframe. Anxiety. It could mean you care deeply about the outcome. Anger. It may be your mind's way of telling you something feels unfair. Fear. Perhaps it's simply your signal that you're stepping into something new. And growth is right on the other side. No emotion is your enemy, unless you decide it is. Life will always be filled with challenges, and emotions, whether comfortable or uncomfortable, are part of the experience. They are reminders that you are alive, feeling, learning, growing. When you change how you label your emotions, you unlock a powerful truth. You don't have to be ruled by pain. You can move through it with grace, with awareness, and even with gratitude. Stoicism doesn't teach emotional detachment, it teaches emotional clarity. It helps you see that every emotion, even the ones you dread, holds a message, a lesson, a doorway to growth. And if you've made it this far, congratulations. That means you're ready to meet your emotions with a new perspective, to stop fearing them, to start listening. Number 5. Understand how the mind works. Higher commitment to personal growth and your willingness to take back control over your life is already transforming your path. What you've learned so far lays the foundation for something profound. And the truth is, this journey is just getting started. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to like and share it with someone who might need it. Because what comes next might be the most important part of all. To truly overcome fear, anger, and anxiety, you must understand this. Your mind is the most powerful tool you'll ever work with. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the human mind is the one thing we have the most control over, yet ironically, it is often the thing we understand the least. Without a basic understanding of how your mind functions, it's easy to fall into patterns, spirals of overthinking, emotional reactivity, fear, and frustration. Instead of being the master of your mind, you become its victim. Imagine your mind as a garden. Leave it untended for just a little while, and the weeds' negative thoughts begin to take over. But if you care for it, if you plant intentionally seeds of calm, confidence, and focus, then that mental garden becomes a thriving, peaceful space. The challenge is, most people try to fix their minds by removing the bad. They want to snip away fear, cut out anxiety, delete anger. But here's the catch. The mind doesn't work like scissors. If anything, it works more like a megaphone. Try this. Don't think of a pink elephant. What happened? Your mind probably produced the clearest image of a pink elephant it possibly could. Because the more you resist a thought, the more power it gains. What you resist persists. This is why fear often grows when you try to push it away. Why anxiety intensifies when you try to ignore it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus explained it perfectly. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. It's not the event itself that creates emotional pain. It's how you perceive it. So instead of trying to erase or fight your feelings, pause and ask, what is this emotion trying to show me? Fear, when seen clearly, may be encouraging you to prepare more thoroughly. Anxiety could be reminding you to focus on what truly matters. When you shift your perspective, you begin to see these feelings for what they are, not enemies, but silent guides, not weaknesses, but signals for growth. Now, think of your mind not just as a garden, but as a car, a sleek, powerful machine. Left alone, without a driver, it can veer off course straight into worry, panic, or resentment. But with your hands on the wheel, you can take it anywhere you choose. Have you ever felt paralyzed by anxiety before a big event, maybe a job interview or a presentation? Your mind instantly plays worst-case scenarios. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? That spiral can feel overwhelming. But what if, instead, you said, "This is a chance to learn. If I make a mistake, it's a stepping stone, not a failure." Instantly, the pressure begins to ease. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence returns. Because here's another truth. The mind doesn't subtract, it multiplies. When you dwell on a thought, positive or negative, your mind amplifies it. Make a mistake and think, "I'm useless," and your mind will gather more thoughts to prove that belief true. But change it to, "This mistake doesn't define me, I can grow from this." And your mind begins to build a new reality. Understanding the mind isn't just about watching your thoughts. It's about learning how to direct them like light through a lens. Focused, purposeful, clear. In the previous section, we explored how the mind multiplies whatever you focus on and how mastering it begins with awareness. Now, let's take that insight further by learning one of the most powerful Stoic practices: detaching from your thoughts. Number 6. Detach yourself from your thoughts. Continual progress begins with continual practice. That means checking in with yourself not just occasionally, but regularly. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by negative emotions, take a brief pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale deeply. Then ask yourself, where is this emotion really coming from? Is it as bad as I think it is? Is it truly worth trading my peace for? These questions may seem simple, but don't underestimate their power. They act like anchors pulling you out of the mental storm and into calm awareness. They create a small but crucial space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, clarity begins to grow. Because here's the truth: your thoughts and emotions are not your essence. They are passing events, not permanent truths. You are not your anxiety. You are not your anger. You are the one observing them. Ultimately, the most transformative thing you can do for your mind is not to control it by force, but to understand it and accept it. Your mind is not your enemy. It is a tool, a companion, but only if you learn how to use it well. So ask yourself, what thoughts am I choosing to follow today? Are they building peace, strength, and happiness, or draining them away? The choice is always yours. Once you truly understand how the mind functions, you'll begin to see that many negative emotions are simply natural byproducts, not indicators of truth, and certainly not reflections of who you are. But awareness alone is not enough. You must learn to create emotional distance. It's like stepping back from a painting. When you view it up close, you only see brushstrokes and noise. But when you take a step back, the full picture emerges. The same is true of your thoughts. By creating distance, you begin to observe, not react. And when you become the observer, you regain control. Picture this. You're sitting in an important meeting. Suddenly, a thought pops into your head. What if I say something stupid? Everyone will think I'm incompetent. That one thought instantly triggers anxiety. Your heartbeat rises. Your palms start to sweat. But pause, look closer. Is that thought really true? Or is it just a fear-based story your mind created in a moment of vulnerability? Most likely, it's not truth, it's a narrative. And the moment you recognize it as just that, a thought, not a fact, you begin to diffuse its power. This is the essence of Stoic training. Creating distance between yourself and your thoughts is the first step toward managing fear, anger, or anxiety instead of being managed by them. So how do you build this distance? Start by becoming a gentle observer of your own thoughts. Imagine your mind as the sky, wide, open, boundless, and your thoughts They are clouds, some light and fluffy, others dark and heavy. But no matter how dense the clouds may seem, they always pass. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. The more you remember this, the less likely you are to lose yourself in temporary storms. One effective technique for creating that space is labeling your emotions. When you feel overwhelmed, instead of saying, "I'm anxious," try saying, "This is anxiety. It's present right now, but it's not who I am." This simple shift naming the emotion acts like a light switch in a dark room. It brings awareness. It softens the intensity. Modern psychology supports this as well. Studies show that naming your emotions reduces their grip, making them feel far less overwhelming. And Stoicism, once again, said it first. Self-awareness is the first step to emotional mastery. When strong emotions take over, our perspective narrows. We begin focusing only on the immediate discomfort, forgetting the bigger picture. But that's exactly when you need to zoom out. Ask yourself, is this feeling trying to tell me something? Can I step back and see this situation with more clarity? Because when you can shift your perspective, even slightly, everything begins to look different. In the previous section, we explored the power of creating distance from your thoughts, observing them rather than becoming consumed by them. Now, let's go one step further. Once you've gained that distance, how do you turn it into lasting inner strength? Number 7. Continuously train your mind to combat negativism. It is all it takes. Is one question to shift your entire mindset. Will this really matter in a week, a month, a year? That simple shift in perspective can instantly dissolve the weight of something you thought was unbearable. And when you're unsure, return to the Stoic wisdom of Epictetus. Is this something that is, or is not, within my control? If it's out of your hands, let it go. And if it's within your power, then take meaningful, practical action. Don't get lost in worry. Get grounded in doing. Another powerful way to create distance from negative emotions is to practice mindfulness in the present moment. When an anxious thought or heavy emotion surfaces, don't fight it. Pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Let your attention rest gently on the now. In that moment, you'll begin to notice something liberating. Your thoughts are not solid. They're not facts. They're fleeting, like clouds passing across the sky or water flowing down a river. You don't have to jump into the current of every thought. You can simply stand on the riverbank and watch them pass. Because here's the truth. Your mind can sometimes feel like an enemy filled with chaos and noise. But it can also become your greatest ally when you train it. When you understand how to navigate its storms, you no longer fear life's challenges. You stop being a prisoner to your emotions. You begin to meet each situation not with panic, but with calm, grounded presence. That's the resilience of a Stoic. If you've made it this far, take a moment now to affirm in the comments, I am not my emotions. Let this be your declaration that you're ready to apply everything we've explored together. Once you've created distance from your thoughts, the real work begins. You must continuously train your mind. This is where many people fall short. They think reading a few inspiring quotes or watching one video will erase anxiety forever. But Stoicism doesn't promise that. Why? Because negative emotions like fear, anger, and sadness will always be part of life. Just as darkness exists alongside light, these emotions are simply part of the human experience. The goal isn't to eliminate them. It's to build the strength to meet them with wisdom and clarity. True strength lies not in escaping emotions, but in responding to them well. and that requires daily practice. Too often, people try to suppress their pain, pushing it down like a ball underwater. But what happens when you let go? It shoots back up with force. Unaddressed emotions always resurface, usually louder, heavier, and more overwhelming. That's why Stoicism teaches us not to run from discomfort, but to face it, and to build resilience through repeated training of the mind. Yes, it's a long journey. Yes, it can feel uncomfortable, but this journey leads to something priceless: freedom. As Epictetus said so wisely, no great thing is created suddenly any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you desire a fig, you must give it time. First it blossoms, then it bears fruit, and only after that it ripens. The same is true for your mind. It needs care, patience, daily cultivation. So start small. The next time you feel anxious, don't let it consume you. Pause. Ask yourself, will this matter 5 years from now? This isn't just a stress relief technique. It's a way of retraining your entire mind to zoom out, to see more clearly, and to stop giving power to things that don't deserve it. In the last section, we talked about training the mind daily, one small act at a time. Now, let's bring it all together with a final practice, a lasting perspective, and a reminder that your growth is just beginning. Imagine this: you're an employee, preparing to deliver a high-stakes presentation to your superiors. As the moment approaches, anxiety starts to rise. Your mind spirals. What if I forget what to say? What if I sound unprepared? What if I ruin everything? In that moment, you stand at a crossroads. You have two choices: let fear paralyze you, or use the moment as an opportunity to train your mind. There's a powerful Stoic practice that fits perfectly here: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of potential misfortune. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And how would I respond if it did? When you allow yourself to face the worst-case scenario and accept it with calm readiness, something incredible happens. The fear starts to lose its grip. It no longer controls you. You rise above it. To make this mindset shift a lasting habit, try this. Each evening, take just 5 minutes to reflect. Write down the emotions you experienced during the day. What triggered anger or stress? What could you have done differently? How might you approach the same situation next time with more clarity and control? This isn't just journaling, it's mental training. Each time you write, you're cultivating a powerful skill: the ability to observe your emotions from a safe, calm distance, the foundation of Stoic strength. Because here's the truth: training your mind isn't something you do once and forget. It's not a one-time achievement or a box to check. It's a lifelong journey. And like any worthwhile journey, it takes time, patience, and daily effort. It won't be perfect. You don't need to be. But if you stay consistent step by step, you'll grow. Your mind will become stronger. Your thoughts will become clearer. And when life throws its storms, you'll stand more composed, more grounded than ever before. Overcoming negative emotions isn't about defeating them. It's about learning to live with them peacefully, patiently, and powerfully. Today, we've explored 7 Stoic strategies to transform your inner world. Recognize that your mind can create joy. Learn to master your mind's power of imagination. Reframe how you label emotions. Understand how the mind works to talk yourself from your thoughts consciousness. Train your mind to combat negativity. Each one is a step toward reclaiming your peace. Each one is a tool you can use starting today. Because this isn't theory. This is practice. This is daily life. And this is your journey. If you found this video helpful, please consider hitting like to support our work and help others discover these insights. Comment below and share your favorite lesson or a moment where you applied one of these ideas in your life. If you know someone struggling with fear, anxiety, or inner turmoil, share this video with them. You never know whose life you might impact. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Capsule and turn on the notification bell. We're just getting started. There's so much more wisdom coming your way. Thank you for watching. Thank you for growing. And always remember this: the power to change your life has always been within you. You just have to choose to use it. See you in the next video.